Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at WhisperStatus74. Welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you're seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. This is a direct comparison of the Sony X950H at the bottom at 49 inches versus the TCL R635 mini LED on the top. There is no editing or labeling or changing of the camera. In this video, it is straight HDR. Filmed in HDR. The reason there is no editing, as my editing software does not have HDR pass-through. Both are, again, in their HDR settings to get them as close as possible. They are in cinema. The TCL is in HDR normal, not dark. In this normal mode, they're both warm color. No vibrancy on the TCL or live color on the Sony. The reason I have them lined up this way is to get them both in the center where neither one of them is being favored being off angle, which I think could hurt the Sony being too far off to the left or right. You're going to see extra blooming on the Sony due to the camera, and some of these transitions are very quick. That banding you see on the TCL is the frame rate. That's how the camera picks it up. It's the shots in between that don't have it. These videos are about 10 minutes long. You should be seeing it in HDR. If you tap the three buttons in the top corner of YouTube, you should be able to enable HDR there if you have an HDR display or handheld device. The idea was to get the two displays to look as close as I possibly could to one another. TCL, I thought, edged out the Sony in the last comparison, which you can see on the channel. And it's also doing very well here. Keep in mind that they are about $500 apart. The 49-inch obviously is cheaper, but the 55-inch version of the 950H is about $500 more expensive. Sony known for their shadow detail and natural look. Now this first black level coming up is going to look very blown out. Give the camera a chance. That's more accurate there. And to note that when you're seeing the Sony alone, that blooming doesn't seem as evident. It just looks brighter. It doesn't look like blooming. It just looks like it's a bright image. TCL does behave a lot like an OLED. In a lot of these scenes, the blacks are very black. Colors are a bit more saturated. I did not use the TCL mobile app. They're just in their warm mode, both of them. The 49-inch does not have the X-wide viewing angle, but will in turn have a higher contrast ratio. The step-up models will have more dimming zones, but dimming zones have also fallen. You'll see this normalized because there's blooming on the top one too, which isn't here. So you'll see there briefly. When the owls come up, you'll see the better black level from both. Now these aren't edited together, these are actually side by side, or I should say on top of each other, but they're right next to each other. Again, that haloing is not as evident, but it's there. And it's amazing, like the 950H versus the CX, it's how they can look virtually the same in some shots and completely different in others. Please understand, if this is the first time you're seeing me, I have no stake in the game of which display wins. You'll see the TCL go against the LG CX of the same size in the next few days. We're going to show some gaming comparisons between the 950H and the THX mode of the mini LED. Keep in mind, Sony has an amazing looking game mode, and the pixel response without variable refresh rate is a little slow on the TCL. See more detail on the cowl on the Sony. The black level makes the scales on the crocodile pop more. And that's more indicative of what I'm seeing. Transition's not as quick here. We're going to talk about LEDs and the future of them going forward. And why I think it's hard to control the light, and adding more zones and higher peak brightness has become a hard juggling act for manufacturers, which is why I think they're going OLED, mini LED, micro LED. Same with Samsung. But when viewing, try to remain as impartial and as open-minded as you can. I know it's difficult. I like them all. I don't have any specific brand loyalty, maybe other than Panasonic, which isn't here anymore in the States. Now for the remainder of this video, I've put advanced contrast enhancer on medium on the Sony. I've increased the brightness on the TCL. I've added live color, and the color vibrancy is up a little higher on the TCL. Kind of pump them both up a little bit. They are both flexible in their settings. This is the Spears and Munsil demo disc. I should have said that earlier. Thank you to Stacy Spears. Please purchase the disc from them and support their work. The display is also from Value Electronics. Special thank you to them for supplying the X950H for review, extended review, 6 months. We can see where you can actually make the Sony a little bit more vibrant. Those settings didn't change the mini LED a whole lot, but they did increase the vibrancy of the Sony. This video cut me off at like 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Only get rid of that banding is to raise the aperture, which I can't do or don't want to do. Both excellent displays. But again, I don't have a favorite. Be as impartial as I possibly can. I know brand loyalty is very important to many of you, but they both look amazing. Thank you so much before this cuts me off. See you in the comments. Take care.